Some of the thoughts holding you back don't feel negative. I mean, they can feel smart, responsible, even necessary. You know, most people, they expect their mindset blocks to sound something like fear or doubt. But some of the ones that actually delay your progress are the ones that are really quiet. The ones that, let's say, they fly under the radar. They show up as overthinking, perfectionism, planning, or even just too much flexibility. And that's what we're going to dig into today's show. 5 not so obvious mindset patterns that can sneak in and keep you stuck without you realizing it. And once you spot them, I'm going to bring in some awareness things here. That's when the momentum turns around. And hey, if you are tired of spinning your wheels and ready to recharge that mental and physical battery of yours so that you can reclaim your power, I encourage you to head over to talktoperry.com, dropping that in the lower third there. We'll map out those pressure points and really get your energy working so that you can achieve your goals again. So let's get to it today. Got 5 mindsets here that these are blocks, and they often are just sneaky. They're quiet. They're in the background. So see which ones that, if any of these relate to you. Maybe all of them, maybe none of them. I don't know. But usually by bringing up a thought or two, usually sparks. It's like, oh, I didn't think of that, but I thought of this other thing. So one is obsessing over whether it's the right goal. There's that mindset that sounds like, what if this isn't the goal I should be going after? You often see this as you've got a weight loss goal or whatever it is, and then you'll see a magazine cover, you'll see some friends' results, whatever, and you're like, oh, maybe I should do that, maybe I should try that plan, or maybe I should totally change my goal. That sounds totally responsible, even reflective, but often it's a delay tactic in disguise. Growth, it rarely comes from having the perfect goal. It comes from committing to a direction and then letting that process shape you. My friend Angie, I love chatting with her and getting on training calls with her. She says, I think she got this from Bob Proctor too. A goal is not to get, a goal is to grow. So if you use that just as your mission, that you're constantly growing, and if you've always been changing the goal, you're going to stay in that holding pattern. So choose something that stretches you and moves you forward. Then you can course correct later. Clarity. It comes from motion. You got to take the action first, not stay in stillness. Another one is needing a better system before starting. That's probably what I was talking about that pops in my head when you're seeing a friend that got results. You're like, oh, I just need a different program or a better planner or, a different routine. I can't seem to stick with this. And really, you just haven't stuck with that long enough, or you've been trying to talk yourself out of it. Tools are useful, but if you keep swapping them out before putting in the reps, if you keep, it really will keep you from building real skill, which is the consistency muscle, right? You get better by doing, not by constantly adjusting the setup. Here's a tip here. Start simple. I know that sounds easy, right? But it is. Start simple, but get started. That was what my biggest sticking point was. I realized it wasn't the program, it wasn't the weights, it wasn't the fact that I didn't have the equipment. I ruled all those things out, and I still wasn't doing this thing, starting my workout, and then starting it consistently on a daily basis. That was a big aha for me. I know it might sound pretty, simple and obvious for you, but I just said, I'm just going to make getting started easier and refine it as I go. Another one is to waiting to feel more confident before committing. Now that one's pretty subtle, but it's really common. It sounds like, once I feel ready, or once I'm less doubtful, or once life settles down, I'll commit. But confidence, it doesn't show up in advance. It shows up after you follow through. And that mindset shift, it's learning how to commit while still feeling unsure. Have you tested that one out? I mean, confidence grows in motion, and you don't need to be fearless here. You just need to move anyway. The over flexibility thing, I think I talked a little bit about that. We tend to get over flexible with time and energy. And that mindset makes it super easy. It's you're going like, oh, it's easy going. You think, you know what, I'll get to it later or when I feel up to it. And it sounds harmless, but it's really training your brain to put your goals last, put them second, whatever, It doesn't feel rigid, but it means that you're needing to set some priorities. And when your goals are always taking a back seat, they never become real habits. That can be really, really frustrating. So give them a clear place on your calendar, just like you would, for somebody that you would care about or an appointment that you needed to make. And then my other mindset here is, this is a sneaky one too, feeling passionate about it every day. Oh, I got to really feel awesome about showing up for my workout. I got to feel, I got to fall in love with my workouts. That can happen, but that mindset usually is, if I don't feel like it, I'm not going to force it, And I've had friends that are like, no, I'm just not feeling it today. I'm just not feeling like putting in the workouts. That was me. I'd be driving home during my hour commute. I could really negotiate with myself well, and I'd be like, oh, it's cardio day. I don't feel like cardio. I'm not feeling it today. And I could literally negotiate myself, not only to talk myself into doing something different, but then I would do nothing. I could really be a good negotiator. I'd be like, oh, I'll make up for it on the weekend. You know what? Some days you just got to put in the reps, because if you're always waiting to feel passionate about it or excited for motivation to kick in, well, you're going to skip the days that actually could make a difference, the ones that could actually help you with your discipline. So that's how you build self-trust with yourself, and that leads to real results. Now, these mindsets, they aren't loud. They don't yell at you or scream at you. They're not in your face. And the longer they stay unchecked, that's why I said it's a big awareness podcast today. Well, the more they will blend in and feel normal. So you don't have to wait until they're all gone to make progress. I think that's a lot of us like, well, I'll wait until my mindset's all right. You know what? Just start questioning them when they come up. That was the big thing for me when I realized I'm trying to talk myself out of it. I'm going, there it is again. I'm going to show up anyway, even if I don't want to. And then you start showing up differently. That awareness, it gives you options. And from there, it gives you a way to move forward a lot clearer. So just know you can choose to use your power, take control, use these tips, use the awareness, or you can let the excuses, the justifications, negotiations, all these little sneaky mindsets control you and drain your power. It really boils down to deciding and committing to yourself and your goals and choosing to figure out new ways, looking at possibilities, learning and growing, and keep moving forward. You've got this, my friend. I'd love to hear your top takeaway from today. You could drop those down in the comments. I promise I'll reply. You absolutely rock, my friend. And as always, remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week. That's another Power Blast podcast in the books. Thanks so much for tuning in. And remember, when you are ready to recharge your battery, make sure you go to talktoperry.com. That's talktoperry.com. That's Perry. And I want to listen. I want to hear, what's going on. I want to help you in that 15-minute call to recharge your battery and reclaim your power so that you're off and running and creating massive momentum toward your dream. Also, every day, I am delivering more motivation, support, tips, and strategies inside my free community with amazing people like yourself. And we are conquering the mindset and the fitness
I do 52 weeks of free training in there. Plus, I coach and I mentor people, as well as give you access to tons of resources and guides. It's called my Upside Down Fitness community because we work on a lot of mindset stuff, the inside stuff, and we're a fun group of people striving to make healthier habits in this awesome chapter of life. So make sure you get in there. I promise you'll absolutely love it. Just head over to upsidedownfit.com and you can get into the group. And hey, you would be an awesome friend if you get over to iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast and leave an honest rating and review for the Power Blast podcast. It helps awesome people like you find this show even faster, and that's who I'm looking for, awesome people like you. That's all I have for this week, my friend, and just to let you know, you absolutely rock. That's all I have for this week. I'll see you on the next Power Blast podcast, and always remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week.